set.
Quiet on the set.
5 count.
5, 4, 3.
Hey Mepham, welcome back to yet another episode of the Midweek Update.
In today's episode, we take a look at how overthinking affects the Mepham community, the responsibility that comes with driving, and a new Who Is That?
This and more on this week's Midweek Update. I'm Makayla Daube.
And I'm Jake Manno, and welcome back to the Midweek Update, the MeWe show that brings you closer to the people and places in and around the Mepham community.
Hey Jake, did you take that 8-push test today?
Yeah, I took it earlier. It was really hard. I don't think I did so well.
Jake, you need to stop overthinking it. You're so smart.
I know I am, but I don't know, Makayla. I tend to overthink things a lot.
Well, you don't need to worry, because a lot of students are just the same way. BMB's Jacob Sarduy has more on how overthinking affects kids and adults today.
Overthinking impacts my whole everything, my physical health, my mental health. It makes me stressed out and makes me feel like upset. That could make me feel tired, and then the spiral just continues.
Overthinking has always been a problem that affects most of everyone's daily lives. The amount of people who overthink has risen dramatically. Today, 45% of high school students admit that they overthink, and 73% of 25 to 35-year-olds chronically overthink, along with 52% of people between the ages 45 to 55.
I'd say oftentimes students are overthinking about a lot of things. School, family, how they feel about themselves, what other people think about them. I think there's a lot to overthink.
I think a lot of times for students it's internal, so we're sometimes as a teacher unaware that students are going through this process of overthinking and second guessing themselves, whether it's academically or in their, their social life.
I don't think it fits her, but she had to purchase it for 49 cents, right?
Students overthink about everything, like all different things, but I think one thing in particular is interactions with peers, like social interactions. People really want to be, perceived in a good way, right? We don't want people to think. So I think that when you start to overthink and you're worrying about what your peers think or what other people think, then that starts to affect how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem. So it can kind of all become a mess.
There's something that happened post-pandemic that kind of changed the way that students, or during the pandemic and into post-pandemic, that changed the way that students are dealing with everything from social issues to academic issues, that they're constantly overthinking and second-guessing themselves.
I think people are expecting to match up with other people's expectations instead of staying grounded in the things that they expect for themselves.
See, Jake, lots of students overthink the littlest things.
That actually makes me feel a lot better about myself.
I'm very glad, but if I'm being honest, there's one thing I'm really overthinking right now.
And what exactly is that, Makayla?
Driving. It has so many responsibilities, and I can't remember them all.
It's actually pretty interesting because Ariel Broodhram is here to talk about the responsibilities of driving.
Driving. Every teenager's dream. Many teenagers look forward to driving because it's a symbol of adulthood. But many teens are nervous about the responsibilities that come with driving. Regardless of that, there are many who are eager to take that next step.
I'm more excited about driving. I understand how people are nervous about it because it is pretty stressful because there's so many things happening at once. But I'm excited to not have to be dependent on everything on my parents when I want to get somewhere and that I need to. So I can just go myself.
When driving, it's important to be aware because there are so many distractions on the road. New drivers need to understand how to manage them and stay focused while behind the wheel, which is why many enroll into driver's education. Mr. Hazel is a driver's ed instructor who teaches students how to be aware on the road.
Well, the important thing is when you're driving, you should be focused completely on the task of driving.
To pay attention during driver's ed, I've learned to turn off your phone and put it aside, and the fact that when you are driving, you're only doing it for the sole purpose of driving.
If you are distracted and you're focused elsewhere, you're thinking about daydreaming, thinking about something else, worried about something, you're anxious. You're going to be missing pertinent information by not looking at the road or fully engaged in the task of driving.
Learning how to manage distractions while driving is not only daunting to new drivers, but to their parents as well. Karen Broodhram is the mother of a new driver and has shared her experience and her thoughts on driving.
It's a new skill that they're learning, and like every other life skill, they need to learn and they need to put this life skill into practice so they know how to use it in different situations. The day she took her permit test and passed, it dawned on me at that point in time that my baby girl is growing up.
At first, driving may seem simple and easy, but in reality, there are so many different factors that make up driving. Being aware while driving can be the difference between getting home safely or getting into an accident. For B&B, I'm Ariel Broodhram.
Thanks, Ariel. This made me feel way better about my worries about driving.
I definitely have to agree with you on that one.
Jake, do you know who those people are that check our IDs every morning?
Yeah, it's the security guards, right?
Well, yeah, but do you know who Mr. Francis is?
Not really. Who is that?
Well, funny that you say that. Here's Nikki Saraceni to show our new episode of Who Is That?
Thanks guys, I'm Nikki Saraceni and today I'll be introducing you to Mr. Francis. Mr. Francis has been a security guard here at Mepham for 3 years and he works to keep our school safe every day.
You know, we try to stay vigilant in the hallways just to make sure that, you know, kids are doing the right thing and going to class and not any problems, assist teachers and even the nurse with, you know, students that may be sick or possibly injured for whatever reason.
It's important to have security guards on school grounds to ensure safety around the building and protect us from incoming threats.
You know, we have many functions that we do in the school, the number one being to screen visitors into the building, make sure that everybody is an employee or a student of the school, try to keep everybody in a safe environment so that they can learn and enjoy their experience.
We're thankful for all our Mepham security guards like Mr. Francis. That's all for me. I'm Nikki Saraceni, now back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Nikki. I'm so glad the Mepham students get to learn more about people on our amazing Mepham staff.
I concur.
Wait, what? Jake, what did you just...
I spoke in poetry terms. Why wouldn't I?
But just why?
Well, because we had our cameras at the Poetry Out Loud contest that happened yesterday.
I'm Brianna Goodman, and I'm here in the Choral Room where the annual Poetry Out Loud competition has just taken place. If you guys don't know, Poetry Out Loud is a competition that focuses on poetry recitation. They look at things like body language and vocal recitation. The final standings were Fiona Zhang in third, second place Jake Wilson, and in first place winning was Danya Zaidi. Jake Wilson and Danya Zaidi will now represent Mepham at the regional competition. That's all from me. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, guys, and congratulations on those who are getting to the next level.
You want to know who I hope advanced to the next level?
Who?
Mepham Sports. Speaking of Mepham Sports, here's Ryan Marr with your Midweek in Mepham Sports.
What up, guys? I'm Ryan Marr, and this isn't my normal domain, but I can't make myself at home. Anyways, let's get right into it. Onto the courts where last Friday, the girls basketball team lost a close game of 49-48 to Calhoun. They played Jericho last night, and so did the boys. Now onto the track where Isaiah Contreras ran a 1-minute and 22-second run, and it was the fastest high school time, which brought him to first in the nation. Next, we move on to the ice, where the Bulldogs beat the Storm 6-4 on Monday, which continued their win streak to 6 games. Joey Braglia made a bunch of saves in the net, and forward James Pelini was named the player of the game. Finally, we move on to the NHL, where the Islanders had an amazing win last night against the Leafs in overtime. And onto the best sport, baseball, my amazing, super spectacular Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani to a 10-year, $700 million deal, because money is nothing to us. Nothing. But that's it for me, and now back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Ryan. I don't think I've ever seen him on sports before.
Well, that's because it was his first time.
Well, Ryan, you did an absolutely amazing job for your first time on Midweek Sports.
Well, that's it for this week of Midweek Update. We'll be back next week with all new stories from around the BMCH SD to bring you inside the parts of the community we don't always get to see. But until then, I'm Jake Manno.
And I'm Makayla Daube, and we'll see you all next midweek.
No, we're just going to go with it.
Okay.